We're starting with the AFC West because that's where your notes started with. And I always make you go off my notes. So because I was gone for 2 weeks, we flipped it today. So I had to rearrange mine. We're going to start with the AFC West. Some of these answers are going to be very fast. It's why we can do all 32 teams in one show, because it's not going to take a lot. So let's start with the defending Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. Nate, in your mind, are the Chiefs trying to win the Super Bowl in 2023?
I don't know, but no, absolutely they are. And I think they are until Mahomes retires. I think that's okay.
That's the Chiefs are done.
31 to go.
Los Angeles Chargers. Are the Los Angeles Chargers trying to win the Super Bowl this season?
Yes, they are. Yes, they absolutely are. Take advantage of Herbert's last contract. Last year was a cheap deal. Look at their contracts, see who's coming to free agents, see how many guys, how expensive everybody else is. Yes, they are competing this year. They are all in this year. Done.
So, they are 13th in cash spending in the NFL this year, but they spent a ton last year.
Yes.
And that's when they handed out a bunch of contracts. And so they're right up against the cap.
There's a couple teams like that where you're saying what they paid last year is actually indicative of what maybe they think this year. So there's a couple teams where that note is actually very, very relevant.
I think I'll mention cash spending a lot because I do think it's an indication of how aggressive teams are trying to be. But this is a perfect example. Okay. The Chargers have $12 million in 2023 cap space as it currently stands. They are $60 million over the 2024 cap. So the Chargers, yes, are trying to win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
These next two now, this is why I wanted to do the show, because there are plenty of conversations that get a little bit trickier. The Denver Broncos.
Okay.
Do you think the Denver Broncos are trying to win the Super Bowl in 2023?
I actually do think they are.
I do too.
Yeah. I don't think Sean Payton knows anything else. So they hired.
I think that is a great point.
Yeah.
The Sean Payton part of this is totally reasonable.
Yeah.
But then you look at what they've done. The Denver Broncos handed out $142 million guaranteed in free agency this season. That is the most of any team in the NFL. I don't think you're doing that if you're not trying to win. And they've already committed to their quarterback. They've got a lot of pieces that are established on that team, both sides of the ball. As weird as it is, considering the season they had last year and the fact that they were picking in the top 5 or would have been if they owned their pick, I do think they are trying to win the Super Bowl this season.
I do. I think what you said with the free agency, I mean, they even signed like Frank Clark. They're trading up for guys in the draft, which again, that's some Sean Payton aggressiveness, but that is also, he's not a rebuilding coach. He got out of New Orleans right as he was like, that credit card. Oh, Drew Brees isn't here. Let's start finding the exit door pretty quickly. So it's kind of interesting though. Their Vegas win total right now is about 8.5 wins at most places. I'm been betting over on that. Just like I'm pretty optimistic about I think it's the year after the year because you can't get any worse than it was last year. But they had a lot of injuries. Yeah. I think Sean Payton, we talk about the guardrails, but with Russell Wilson, I think Sean Payton's going to do that. So I think they're going to be pretty frisky this year, but I think they are totally all in just based on their personnel and all the moves they've made.
You look at the deals they handed out along the offensive line, Ben Powers.
Yes.
They went out and got Mike McGlinchey. They gave that contract to Zach Allen. I mean, big time deals. And then the Sean Payton thing. I don't know if they can win the Super Bowl.
Right.
It is going to be hard for me. I will admit this right
and
now.
That's real quick. That's a big difference.
It is a big difference.
Yes. An actual contender or a playoff team. That's a big difference. That's a big leap to make.
Okay. It's June 16th as we record this. I know over the next couple months, one of my biases and one of my blind spots as we get toward the season is going to be how much I have to get the Russell stink off of me after what last season looked like. And I know it is going to affect me more than it probably should. So, but again, this isn't what they're going to do. It is what they are trying to do. And I think the way they've spent their resources, they are trying to win the Super Bowl.
I did a little Broncos study earlier this week Broncos offense study, because I really wanted to check out the receivers and see how Sutton looked at the end of the year and all that, and Judy and all that. And it was bad, man. That offense it was bad in the moment. And then going back 6 months later and watching it, I counted it was the Chiefs game. It was their second Chiefs game. And in the first 2 series, there was 4 mental errors or missed assignments on just alignment. Like a guy, they had a fake, like an orbit motion, like a fake reverse. The guy was going the wrong way. So the fake was going into the play. Then another play, Sutton and Judy lined up next to each other and they looked at each other and Russ didn't know which one was on which side. It was just comical. And now it was like that. Oh my God. And they were actually trying to compete last season. And that's what they looked at like in December after how many games. I don't know. It's
a great argument for why it could be so much better this year.
They had so many injuries last year.
Yeah.
They had so many injuries. And that's something, we pounded on. They deserved a lot of the criticism last year. They truly did, but they they had some stuff going against them, some luck-based stuff going against them. So that's why even if that regresses to the mean, they could be okay this year.
Last one here. The Las Vegas Raiders. Are the Las Vegas Raiders trying to win the Super Bowl in 2023?
I think they are, but come on. Like, I think they
so
think
hard.
It's so hard because you don't know what they actually think.
They are 7th in cash spending.
Okay.
They are 30th in available cap space. Like, they have spent their cap space. They went out and they gave Jacoby Myers that contract.
Yep.
The bigger question to me, I think the central question, one I will pose to you, if you sign Jimmy Garoppolo to that deal, are you trying to win the Super Bowl?
Yes.
I think the answer is yes, but I certainly don't feel good about it.
No. It's like, it's like, yes, that's saying we're signing a vet QB that could be our starter, but it's not like, does it make you really feel like that's the move? Like, that's the needle mover that we just signed? And that's the Raiders. Like, the moves they made last year was like, oh, we're pushing this year. We traded for Devontae. We signed Chandler Jones. Look at us go. And then they kind of doubled down on it, I guess. Jacoby Myers. They signed guys like Austin Hooper. Like, I don't know. It's not like they're playing the youth. They have like some like really good, expensive vets. And then, I don't know, just a very strange team. Very, very strange team. Their over-unders at 6.5 or 7.5 wins right now. And I think they truly think that they were like, I don't know. Josh McDaniels, I know, is going to be trying to be competitive as all get out. But yeah, you look at this team, it's such a weird situation.
I'm going with no, but I can understand how you could say yes based on some of the moves that they made. They're one of the most confounding teams in the league. We've talked about them a bunch. This is a good way to talk about teams that are confusing. Like, I think this exercise is, and they were one of the teams that stood out the most.
The line I wrote was they're stuck in compete mode this year because they set that course last year.
Yeah,
like that was the boat, and then they're like trying to turn the boat slowly. And like, oh shit, there's the iceberg coming ahead.
Okay, talking about cash spending again, they are 8th. In cash spending in the NFL, and it's a lot of guys that they have signed last year, right? So Devontae Adams, Max Crosby, they gave that contract to Chandler Jones. They've got some expensive veterans on that team, and then that's with Jimmy making $24 million in cash this year. I just don't know what they are, but I think that there's a chance they think they are, but I think that's one of the tougher ones on this list.